guys.
Hello.
Today we're talking about the free will and the power of, yes. So the free will is the power of. The nucleus of the free will is intention.
It's a huge power intention. Like the mind nucleus is hope. The free will's nucleus is intention. You cannot do anything without intention. You have to have an intention before you could decide to do anything. So the nucleus is very important for the soul itself because it's guiding your soul. Intention is the most important thing. So.
Well, and then manifestation, intention, and emotion are very important elements.
That's all triggered from there.
Yeah.
Even before we create this body, this physical body, intention and the soul and the free will and the soul traveling throughout the universe and all that, but intention guides them through. So that's why it's the nucleus. So, of course, it has its own tools. We should call free will, we can actually call it intention. So it's just, it's this higher self, intention into your higher self. So we can actually call it intention, not necessarily free will. And everybody is after our intentions too, by the way, after our free will to just obey. So you have your own intention. You can't say no.
Yeah, so the function of the free will though is is permission. So like they have to get our permission, tell us what they're doing to be able to get our free will's permission. Whether or not our body and our minds are aware of what's going on, that's a whole nother matter. But to get our free will permission, like we've seen something or we're aware that it's happened, even if it's on a higher level, it might not be on our human level at the moment, but they've used our free will against us willingly with their intention, which is forceful.
The best example is religion. That they always have these stories and everything that they have for thousands of years to it doesn't matter what kind of religion. It could be paganism. It doesn't matter. They use those stories and mythics and whatever they have to prepare you for what's coming, and therefore subconsciously is approving of their coming manifestation. You're approving,
A perfect a perfect example of this. To me this week specifically is like The Simpsons. They have so many, things that have come true, but 20 years ago, maybe it hadn't happened. I mean, it hadn't happened yet. So they were getting everyone's free will because everyone was watching The Simpsons. They're basically telling you what's going to happen in some way, shape, or form.
And ask you for it.
Right. They've asked permission from our free will for those things to happen before they ever happen. Rufus wants to talk.
Yeah,
he does. He wants. He says, "I have something to say." Shut up.
So therefore, I guess Hollywood is a religion, right? They constantly put up stuff asking for free will. You're gonna approve of it. Also, MK Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
It's also playing your free will more than it's actually playing, like they say, with the mind. They actually don't really play with the mind. They're more playing with your free will through your ego, through your logical experiences, and through your rationale. They screw up those rationales, and they try to get the free will for you to obey to certain commands. Yeah,
so
does it make sense?
So the question, but the question I have though is it kind of like a light bulb went off. You said intent, free will, higher self. You have to have the permission. Is that why you have to have the higher self's permission? Is because of the free will connection? Like is that why the higher self can give that permission? Is because it's connected to the free will, or am I misunderstanding something? No.
Free will and higher self is one and the same.
Right.
It's
so
the
it's
same
like when
thing.
I'm doing energy work on someone, I have to at minimum, I have to have at least the higher self's permission to do that work on that person. Without,
Yes.
if they don't know, that's where the connection comes in. Is what I'm saying.
You can call it free will, you can call it higher self, but it's the same entity. It's the same thing. It's not
right.
Spirit. It's the same entity. Higher self is the same entity as a free will. It's your higher self of making decisions, of intentions. The free will is your higher self.
It's the soul satellite.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So it's the same.
I had an
same
aha.
Yeah. You can call it whatever you wanted to call it. I mean, it's just, but it's the same entity. Is your free will is spiritually, like whatever I wanted to call it. It's like higher self, but we choose to call it free will because it's more appropriate. Actually, it's your free will and has some sort of bigger impact on people understanding of what that feels to have a free will. Like, is your will. You got to do whatever you wanted to do, no matter what the electronics or no matter what they wanted to do with you. You can actually write your own script, your own life, because you have that will, that power, that free will, higher self.
But it's also like the free will knows better for your soul than your mind does. So they can have a conflict in decision making sometimes on a human level, just because the human mind thinks it knows better based on the current situations. But the free will really has your soul's best interests at heart. So that's where those best intentions come from, or from the free will for your soul.
That's a really good point, because the free will always going to take care of your soul, but you will not take care of your mind or body or
ego.
Ego is structured
it's
into
in the mind.
Yeah. But you will not take care of your spirit of your life, or it's just going to take care of your soul, the best for your soul only. So everything that happens to you,
and is that
like physically or mentally or emotionally, it is not your free will. It is your experiences in life, because the free will only takes care of your soul. The best.
Is that because those things are finite? Those things are limited to just this body, and the soul is infinite. It is an infinite being. Is that why it does that?
It's because those two entities are like forever. Like doesn't matter.
Infinite.
Yeah, they're infinite. Yeah, they're forever together. That those are joined to the hip. I mean, they're like, they pick each other up. And they're gonna travel throughout the universe, whether the physical body is living or is just a corpse afterwards. It doesn't matter. Those two is gonna travel into the universe. They come back or not. It doesn't matter. I don't know about that. So the reincarnation part is a whole nother subject. But anyway, the free will and the soul, those two are together forever. I mean, I'm talking like really forever. Not only the experience on this earth, you're just gonna leave your body. I mean, at one point, and just travel again for other purposes. We will not remember the experiences that you have here. That's why we don't remember the past lives. And we'll not remember the experiences that you have here. It's just a soul and a free will that would just travel into your universe. It's not that simple as that. It's just happened right now that we have this period of time that the soul and our free will experience this body, experience this other entities, the mind that we have, the mind that we construct, the spirit guide that we have, the spirit breath that would give us life through the soul element consciousness. It's like the nucleus. It's like a nuclear plant. That's what it is. So it gives us it gives the soul a lot more tools for having this pleasant experience. It's supposed to be a pleasant experience.
Well, and if you expand the view of the free will civilization, it's like a whole civilization. I mean, they look like sparkling diamonds, like they just, and when a soul acquires a piece of free will, it's like a piece of the free will civilization. So a piece of that diamond goes with each soul to help guide them through their journey, which is really cool if you think about it from that aspect, I think.
You got a piece of this universe, these civilizations that are out there, the sound civilization, the light. You got a piece of it.
It's like we've been pieced together by all the elements of the universe to make a human and have a human experience. So, I mean, it's really, really quite beautiful if you think about how we've been pieced together by the biggest entities and the biggest civilizations in the whole universe, like
whether it's a human or a sentient being or just a creature, just anything. They're
it's
being
beautiful.
pieced together for certain experiences. What those experiences are, I don't know. Everybody's individual, free will, and higher self to make decisions.
Imagine for a moment that the mother and father creator of all souls, they know everything. They've experienced everything. And they're like, you know what? A blip, like a human life experience would only be about, 80, 100 years. So it's only like a few hours in their world, right? So what if they decided, we're getting a little bored. Let's go hop into a human body and see how human life is. Forget all of our knowledge. Just wipe it all off. We'll archive it for later. So at a specific time, it'll come back up when we need to remember, or when the game is over.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what if?
A greater example would be like raining into the river. Like all these drops of rain have real ripple effects into a river that flows down the stream. It's just ripple effects and creates that constant ripple effects into the river. So I am one drop of rain. Maybe not even that big. I'm even smaller than that. So that one drop of rain that when he hits the river, it makes a ripple event, meaning whatever I do in my life, it has some sort of a cause and effect. It is a causality thing. It will have a ripple effect.
You're a contributing factor to the movement of the water as a whole.
As a whole, yes. Yeah. Whether good or bad, or that's up to the mind to say if it's good or bad. I mean, who said that the asteroids, when they hit the Earth like a few million years ago, or hit the moon, that was a bad thing for the Earth? It may not be bad. It happens. So it creates so many craters and stuff, but hit the Earth, so it has a ripple effect throughout the history thereafter. So as an individual, you do have a ripple effect. You have to really be careful what you're doing when you're rationally thinking of what you're doing. I mean, you already know, you feel inside your soul, because the free will, again, make decisions for you. So you feel that decision. And when that decision is made, you're going to give it to the brain to process it, process those informations. And 100% of the people will have doubts about it.
And what is doubt? Doubt is a decision killer.
It's a decision killer. So we go right into the power of the free will. Let's see the components of the free will.
So the first one is the power of choice. Choice is the act of selecting or making a decision when faced with two or more possibilities. The power of choice is what all sentient beings have as logical, critical thinking options to be sent to the free will to make the final decision based on what is best for our unique essence of our beings. The soul gives and relies on the power of decision to the free will.
Yeah. So in the end, after you make a choice, the free will be the ultimate judgment of that choice to make the ultimate decision. Right. And then it's going to go through the emotions. It's going to go through your gut brain. It's going to go through your heart brain. It's going to go to your original brain. So it's going to, it goes so fast. It's a lightning speed, decision making, information processing. So you're going to be snap. Okay, I made a decision. Sometimes it takes you a while because you can't make a decision.
Well, and even decision making, I mean, can cause the same thing. It can cause that ripple effect. And I was kind of using the butterfly effect as an example. I was doing a TikTok live yesterday. I was doing some readings, and I use the butterfly effect as an example. A butterfly flutters its wings, which could, in essence, cause a tsunami on the other side of the world. Like, you don't know what that ripple of flapping a wing can cause, right? So even decision making can cause those ripple effects too, in my opinion.
And the lack of decision making can cause internal ripple effects, as well as outward.
Exactly.
Right. Decision equal life. Lack of decision equal lack of life. The living chi inside you. If you can't make a decision, it's stagnation of your living. You emotionally have a ripple effect. Emotionally, you get sad, lack of life, depression. But because you cannot make a decision, if you make decisions, you're going to feel good about yourself, even if it's wrong, even if it's right, even if it doesn't matter what it is, the decision that you make. You can stop the decision, adjust, and make another decision, but you should and you must make a decision, because otherwise you're not living. You're stagnated.
Right.
Your life inside you, your chi, the meridians are going to get blocked. The health problems. Yeah, the chi is not moving. The prana inside you is stopping because you can't make decisions. Or somebody else making decisions for you, like a boss, like whatever title they have, that takes life from you.
And that can cause a lot of kidney problems. Specifically, because lack of life or too much life, an imbalance of life in that area, not being able to make decisions, that can eventually impact your kidneys. So, I mean, that's if somebody has kidney issues, that's something to really look at as far as like internally. Am I having problems making decisions, or am I doubting myself when I make a decision? Because all that stuff is going to interact physically in the physical body at some point.
Explain why the kidneys.
Well, kidneys hold our life. So kidneys store the chi, the life force. So if there's an imbalance or too much or too little life, then there's going to be some kind of disruption or imbalance in the kidneys, which will show outwardly.
Yeah. So is the pancreas.
Yes.
Pancreas is very delicate. I don't understand much about pancreas. I understand a lot of other organs. The pancreas is like a mysterious organ.
It does a lot of stuff, but yeah, it's still pretty mysterious.
It's working straight with the free will, the pancreas. Is our nucleus or of a physical body, the pancreas. It's more important than the heart. It's more important than anything else, the pancreas.
Well, and the pancreas physically is very responsible for insulin levels and things like that. So you see this rise of diabetes, and you can see where there's been an attack on the pancreas, but it's the nucleus of the human body. Yeah, it's the nucleus of the human body. So you've got all these foods that cause diabetes or other things that they've helped increase so many diseases because they know how things work, to at least better than we have on a spiritual level.
Let's attack them with sugar.
Yeah, and I mean the pancreas on a spiritual level, I mean all of our all of our thoughts, which are other souls really, are absorbed through the pancreas, and the pancreas distributes all of that information to the brain, to the gut brain, to the heart brain, to, all of these other organs to indicate what we need to know at that moment.
Okay, we by now we should say we do not think thoughts. Yeah. Our brain are not equipped to think and process thoughts, or we're thinking about it. No, you didn't think about it. The pancreas disseminates those thoughts that we breathe in or we through our skin, whatever, and disseminates those thoughts
and organizes them.
It filters them. Yeah, it filters them.
It sends them to the right direction so the right organ can.
But it disseminates them in information. So our head brain, even our heart brain, is just process those information that comes from thoughts that we collect them, we breathe them in, or through our skin, through our nose, through our mouth, through our ears, even through our
all the senses,
even through our eyes.
Yeah,
our eyes collecting certain amount of information, but
light
if it's
from the
too
sun.
big, if it's too big, it goes to the pancreas.
Yes, your eyes actually are heat sensors, and when you wear sunglasses, that's when you get the most burn effect on your skin, because your eyes can't sense how hot it is outside to shut those receptors down on your skin. Therefore, you get more sunburn. And these commercials for the sunglasses, and I'm actually bad at that too. I mean, it was before my awakening, but I used to tell my daughter, you have blue eyes, you need to wear sunglasses. Like, your eyes don't have that, and now, like, I went to her and I was like, so you were right. And she's like, what do you mean? And I mean, she kind of had this like little ego boost about her, like, well, kind of like, I know, but which one, at 13 years old. Oh, love that ego. And I was like, well, I've been telling you for the longest time to wear sunglasses and you're actually not supposed to. She's like, told you. I'm like, oh, you little turd. So your eyes are heat sensors, and that's when we get sunburnt the most, is when we wear sunglasses.
Well, information, light is information, and if we're blocking the information coming in our eyes, even through the forms of light from the sun, which is kind of crucial for all of us, we're just restricting the information that we have come in, so we're not absorbing as much.
That goes back to the pancreas. Everything goes through there. To whatever information we gather, it goes through pancreas to be balanced and harmonized. Even balance is a harmony, has to be in harmony. Even the balance has to be in harmony. So it goes through the pancreas to be balanced and harmonized. And then whatever your beliefs are is going to go to be processed by your brain. It moves at the speed of light. We can only function, information that we process can only function to the speed of light. There's a lot more speed out there than the speed of light, but we cannot process that. Our brain, our head brain, is not equipped to process faster than the speed of light.
Yeah, so somebody actually said that to me yesterday. Was balance is harmony. I'm like, have you been watching our podcast?
Right on.
Harmony, harmony, love, harmonize even the balance inside you. So it's crucial. Love is crucial, but it's not necessarily only the only things that you have to balance love too. So to have a perfect harmony.
Right.
The whole entire universe, of course, you are part of it. You are a drop of this universe and your body. So the greatest part of your body is probably the pancreas. And it's a little mysterious. Nobody exactly understands it. They probably understand better the brain, how it functions, the electrical parts of the brain, the
Well,
synapse and all that.
I think if more people realized that the thoughts came through the pancreas instead of the brain, they might have given the pancreas a little more attention, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Just a thought.
Probably. Yeah,
No pun intended.
Well, if you think about it, I don't know why I even had this thought. I mean, I do, but I don't. But if you think about it, you know, those who suffer from diabetic issues and stuff like that, they're so concentrated on, like, I know at some point I was hypoglycemic. I'm not anymore, but I was. And you get so concentrated in that feeling of anxiety and, like, you know, your blood sugar is dropping, you know, you need to eat, like, you're not thinking, right? You're so focused down here that those thoughts aren't coming from up here. Everything's coming. I know from me, it was coming from down here. Like, I need to hone in here. Like, what is going on? You know. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess that feels right. I don't know.
And this might sound weird, but the pancreas is the only organ in touch with our free will, because we're talking about free will today. Is the only organ 100% in touch with our free will. The brain is not that. Our brain is not as in touch with our free will as much as the pancreas.
Well, and the pancreas touches every single organ, like
Everything.
Just like kind of webs up and cradles like a mother.
And the way the soul is behind the heart doctors know that, but the way the soul is behind the heart, the pancreas touches too. So it's in contact, literally physical contact with the soul, the pancreas, and is the only organ that actually collaborates 100% with the free will.
We're kind of combining free will and body together.
Yeah, well, it sounds like what? They're all so smashed together. They're like, so it's hard to explain one without the other, because those are entities that like driving our lives.
It makes more sense if you put it all together too.
Well, yeah, but we have to separate. But you have to think of them as separate to understand where you at every single fraction of a second. Where am I right now? I am in my brain, obviously, right? So I'm rationally trying to think and process information from the thoughts that is coming to me.
Right.
So, right now I don't function with my feet because I'm not running or I'm not. So every single fraction of a second, if we are aware where we're at, we can use the tools to control ourselves and stop controlling the environment. Yeah. Stop controlling other people or the environment or whatever. That's very important, to not impose your own thing on everybody else's free will.
I think we need to explain that there are 8 prime components to each body. So there's 7 bodies that make up who we are, 8 including our aura. But so we have the
8 for balance.
Just to recap. Yeah, I know, right? Feels sense.
Yeah.
So we have the soul, free will, body, emotions, the mind, the spirit, and the ego. And there's 8 prime components in each one. The soul has 2 layers. But so the free will, we already talked about the power of choice. The second one we've really kind of already talked about, because it's the power of decision making. And like we said before, I mean, our souls give free will the authority for to make decisions for our best interests, our soul's best interests.
Soul's best interests.
So we must be assertive and make a decision and stick with it in any given moment. We have many, many choices, but only one decision. And don't forget, the doubt is also a decision killer. But we must make each decision with no doubt, but be ready to change at a moment's notice if things, shift any. Being flexible, making a decision, and then being flexible, knowing that you may have to shift it at any moment based on events that happen around you. I think a lot of people, and I mean, we've all been guilty of this. I know I have. Make a decision and you think it has to go exactly that way, but it doesn't. Because if we adjust with what's happening around us, that decision actually will end up working out better in the long run. That's kind of like that going with how things go, going with the flow, you know?
Being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Exactly.
It's more than that. It's more than that because 99% of your decisions that you're making after it's been given to you by the free will, they're wrong.
Right.
They're wrong. I mean, I know from my own experience, being so wrong is unbelievable how many times I could be wrong. But anyway, you have to be prepared to admit, accept, be honest with yourself that you're wrong. Because otherwise, you're forcing things into your own reality that gets you nowhere. You're just wasting the so-called time. You have to be prepared to adjust, change, but most importantly, to admit it.
Yeah.
To accept the fact that you are wrong in your decisions. Maybe forgive yourself, make another decision, and move on.
That's where that ego will kill you.
Yes.
Just to be right.
Just to be right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, decisions is life, like I said. No decision is lack of life. Lack of decision is lack of life. And that's very important that's the message from the free will that I really, really want to emphasize today. Lack of decisions is lack of life. Stagnation, sadness, depression. We're going to talk about the emotions later, but that's where it hits the worst. The lack of decisions, it hits the emotions the worst. Nothing else. Not the physical body. The physical body thereafter. The emotions gets manifested. It's going to hit your health.
And then the emotions take the physical body out.
Yes, exactly. But lack of decisions is going to hit your emotions. And if you make wrong decisions, be ready to accept it, forgive yourself, and make another one.
Keep it moving.
Make another one.
Until you make the decision that you feel inside your soul that is a right decision for you. Once you start thinking that that's got to be right, it has to be right. No, it might not be right. You don't know it. So once you start thinking it wouldn't be fair for you. Just let it feel it. Feel inside just sense everything with your whole fiber of your senses and everything.
Feel the heart pull, the gut instinct, like
everything.
And a little bit of reason and logic thrown in, but mostly that heart and gut instinct.
And if you're wrong, don't keep going. Don't just push it. Don't just push it because it has to be right. No.
Don't be so proud to admit when you're wrong.
Yeah. Because you're going to get angry. It's going to affect your decision. It's going to affect your emotions, the anger side of your emotions. So you're going to be passive. A passive anger would be sadness, would be inner side, would be sadness, depression, loneliness, and it's going to get to regrets and blood disorder.
It's kind of like you go through a day, it's like those days that, we've all had where one thing goes wrong and then everything piles on after that. Yeah. It's kind of like, once you let that ripple start going and you keep feeding on it, it just seems to keep getting bigger and bigger.
And in the end of the
until
day,
you recognize how to stop it.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you go to bed, it's like, why this happened to me all the time? Well, you just don't want to make another decision because you force the wrong decision. You just want the wrong decision to be right.
Yeah. If everything's going wrong, it's time to step back and reassess everything.
Yeah. If this podcast right now, it gets only this little point, just make decisions as it goes and be flexible with that and accept the wrong and accept the right, be honest with yourself. That would be a huge, huge thing for everybody worldwide.
Well, it's accepting accountability for your actions. It goes back to that whole Lucifer thing and that temptation. Like, you have the choice to make the decision. And he's not responsible for the decision that you make. Nobody is responsible for the decision that you make. So you can't blame it on them. Yeah. Only person you can blame is yourself.
Higher self.
Okay, that's
Your
true.
higher self. You can blame your higher self
Right.
because he's making decision for it. He's
Well,
making
okay,
decision
there
that
you
gives it to.
blame
That's
the
kind of
higher
like,
self. There you go. But it's
why
still
is this
part of
happening
you, so
right
you still
now?
have to accept it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I said the higher self is still part of you,
Absolutely.
so you still have to accept it.
You have to recognize it first.
Right. Yes.
Awareness.
Awareness,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. It goes right back to your soul awareness because you have to be fair with you. You must be fair with you. If you push the wrong decisions, you're not fair with yourself.
Yeah.
Because your ego thinks that he's right. He's just not. You're not fair with yourself. You push through something that it gets you in things that is like at the end of the day when you go to sleep is like why this happening to me. So you have to recognize why you made the wrong decision or you did something that has a ripple effect and it costs
Right.
some affecting your it's cause and effect right there, but it affects your life, it affects your reality, not your life. The living life is chief force. The reality that you're creating is going to be affected by that. Decision is very, very important. Okay, let's move on. I mean, we explained the whole thing.
I know,
I hope
pretty
that's-
much. So number 3 is the power of inspiration. The decision the free will makes for you opens up for the divine influence. The sudden, brilliant, creative, or timely idea, or the aha moment. Don't ever think that your ideas are coming from your ego, as inspiration is God breathed, meaning it is divine and breathed into us. Inspiration is not wisdom, as wisdom is already embedded in our DNA. Inspiration is a new knowledge that we acquire and pass on through our AKP, our ancestral karmatic program, and it is how wisdom has been built for millions of years. So the inspiration, I'm gonna make an interjection real quick because I know that a lot of people on the Bible side will say like the word of God is inspired by God. It's God breathed. So that's kind of where I was using that portion a little bit because it is, but it is still separate from the spirit, although they work really well together.
I have no comments. Whatever you said
Right.
here
You're right.
is just beautiful. I love this. I love this because so many people are like, I have a thought. I have an idea.
It's
Yeah,
a divine influence and
you
the
don't. No, you
inspiration.
don't. It's just coming from your free will, and it's being given to you, as well as being given to so many other people in the same time on Earth, because it's a ripple wave that's coming down to that inspiring information. So you have an aha moment. Yeah, okay. It's not necessarily only you. You have to recognize that.
You can see that on social media on any given day. There's like a topic that's going around, and it's in different groups that aren't talking to each other necessarily. It's really funny.
And they have the same idea,
Yeah.
the same inspiration.
They might be on the same topic and have different areas or something, but it's really funny to watch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get a lot of free will ahas, so
That's good. That's good. You're
a
being
lot
inspired.
of them, and it's a little
I think we all
overwhelming.
live for
Like,
the
okay,
aha
can we
moments,
slow
right?
down, please?
Yeah, we've been inspired. We should like talk about a bit, like you just already mentioned. It's a difference between inspiration and wisdom. That's got to be understood. Inspiration is a future aha moment that created wisdom over millions of years. You just said that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So wisdom is already inside us. We can reach it. We can go and grab it. We can ask for it. But there's not inspiration. Inspiration is that moment of
Eureka! I've got it.
yeah, it's coming from somewhere else. Inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom is inside us. It was created by inspiration, who knows when, but it's already in our programming, in our DNA. Wisdom, inspiration is
right.
Is making wisdom. Is a making process. Wisdom. inspiration. That's what it is. Anyway, so we have to make clear, we make the distinction between wisdom and inspiration. Because everything has a meaning. Everything. We have to define meanings, like literally the meaning of our language. It has to be defined.
I think that's why there's so many texts, old texts, that people don't really understand now, because people change the meaning of the words.
So yeah.
It's like, wait, what are they saying back then?
We have to be very principled with the meanings of the words. Man is man, women are women. No, we're going to have to stick.
Bad is bad and good is good. I mean, like, let's keep it simple.
Yeah, we must be principled with this. Stick with that. Like, this is life. This is literally life or death. The meaning of everything, it can cost your life. It can cost your, it's life and death. That's what they're trying to play with so many words right now, and trying to confuse everybody, especially the children. When they grow up, they have no clue. They will have no clue what it means anymore. And we can't allow that. We can't. That's information war.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah.
So number 4 is the power of intuition. The ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. Intuition is the most connected with the inner wisdom of one's being. It's like the instant feeling response from our physical body without our knowledge. You just know it. Like, I know this. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Intuition comes from, is highly connected with the emotions, and it comes from your heart, brain. The brain inside your heart. Make no mistakes, you have a brain in your heart. I keep on saying the brain inside your heart. Your heart is a brain. It's the shield of your soul, and it is a brain. So the most connected, the heart, is with your emotions. So intuition is inside your heart, and you're gonna feel it. You feel points of, oh, my heart's hurting. That's a little intuition right there. When you got some sort of discomfort with your heart, it's an intuition side. We don't know what it is. We should just say that it's not the conscious reasoning to it. It's just it. And most of the time it will give you that, give you like a choking on your neck, that when you get that point of intuition and you don't know why. Honestly, I don't know why.
She knows. You can see her face.
She does.
It's very overwhelming especially when it's that strong and you're like, but you want to fight it because you're like, no, I don't like this answer. and then that's the ego stepping in saying you don't like the answer, and I get that. And just within the last few weeks, since I've kind of grounded myself a little bit, with some help, I've been trusting things that I've been hearing and thoughts, or I guess, well, I'm going to use thoughts because that's what I'm used to. But okay. Those things that have been coming in, and I have just been trusting it, and just going with it, and not second guessing myself as much as I used to second guess myself when I was in my head all the time. Because I am a fire sign, I tend to live in my head, and I just, since I've grounded, I'm going with the flow of it. I'm not allowing that stagnance of second guessing myself.
Yeah, that's intuition. It's beautiful. We just don't fully understand it. We have an aha moment thereafter. Mm-hmm. That's what kind of thing, So yeah, we don't fully understand it, but that's highly connected with your emotions, mm-hmm. which are in your tailbone. So.
And something I do personally is when things are going wrong, and you can't quite locate why something's happening the way it's happening. Just know eventually you're going to get your aha moment of, oh, that's why that happened. So just be patient. It will eventually show up, but that helps me get through a lot of whatever's happening in the moment that may not be super exciting is like, I don't know why this is happening, but I'll find out eventually, you know?
Yeah. Patience.
I've got a few people or a few clients or whatever you'd like to refer to them as that believe that the patience word is a bad word. They're like, you're using that bad word again. I'm like, I can't help it. You guys, we gotta learn patience. We all have to learn patience in some form.
When I used to go to church way back when I was younger, it was people used to say, "Don't pray for patience. God will test you." And I'm like,
yeah,
what?
And they will. Source will definitely test you.
But you're gonna get it regardless if you ask for it or not. So just be prepared.
Right.
Do you see how important the meaning of a word is? Right now, we get a taste of it. Patience, they call it patience as a virtue. They shift everything right there. 2 words. Patience is not a virtue. Virtue is the
I've been saying that. Ego. Patience is not a virtue.
So they try to get you out of the patience to be chaotic and to be acting and responding and weird ways, and just
they want those
not to be tolerant of others.
Yeah, they want those angry ripple effects, the negative emotion ripple effects. They want
that's what they feed off of.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So anything that they can do to get those kind of reactions out of you is what they live for. So if we don't give them what they want, they'll starve at some point.
Patience is not a virtue. Let me repeat it. Patience is not a virtue. Is an element of your soul
preaching to the choir. I already know that.
That generates tolerance.
Virtue is the nucleus of the ego.
Period. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
You should live with a healthy ego, virtue, and honor, and have a little pride, but not the pride that they're trying to push on us.
Just don't let it overrun everything.
Pride of your last name, pride of your name, your identity,
pride of your country, pride of your family, proud of what you do. Like whatever.
It feels so right because your family. Patience sits with the higher self, with free will. It is the higher self knows that it is an infinite being. It will live on. It doesn't have just this life. And the ego sits in impatience because it knows that this life is all it's got. Right? And so for the virtue to sit in ego, I'm like, okay, hello.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you got it.
Helping
TikTok,
myself
Mr. Wick.
Yeah. The ego lives within a timing. The soul and the higher self, which is free will, they don't have time. It's a timeless organs, whatever you wanted to call them. But words are very important. They should have a very defined meaning. That's another thing that we should get through this podcast. I will appreciate it. We should go and see words and their meanings and the way they generate.
Break them back down for their true meaning.
Yes. Like I'll just give you, if you don't mind, a quick example between the word conscience, between the word conscience and consciousness. They so associate those 2 words like it's one and the same. Like conscience is yours individually, and consciousness is this universal conscience or something. It's like, no, what they call it back there, consciousness, is just a nuclear plant inside your soul. That's all there is. It has no knowledge. It has no other thing. The only function the consciousness has is to create life, and for that it needs a spark of
the allspark.
On this earth is oxygen, is breathing air, not necessarily oxygen, but it needs that spark to create life from inside the soul and store it in your kidneys. So that it needs that spirit, the spark of it's a nuclear plant. That's what consciousness has. And conscience is completely different thing. It's a rational point of your ego. It is a logic. Is whatever you're thinking with your frontal brain. That's what your conscience is. Consciousness is an element of your soul. It's a nuclear plant.
The consciousness that everyone talks about that we refer to is that awareness, that higher awareness, the higher consciousness awareness that you get. That awareness is
I call awarenesses.
I started actually. It made sense in several areas.
I call awarenesses. Maybe we can get better through. But, and again, I'll repeat myself. Consciousness is just a building of a nuclear plant. That's all there is. It gives you life. Very important. Without it, you're not going to be alive.
Right.
A tree will not be able to be alive. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're not being able to.
The tree would die. The tree would die.
Without consciousness, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So.
Kind of important.
Kind of important. We're just going back to the soul, but let's stick with the free will. What's next?
All right. Number 5 is the power of integrity. Integrity is most connected to the very nucleus of the free will, intention, and is the most important factor of our reality. Integrity is for the whole of you. The word integral means necessary to make a whole complete, essential, or fundamental. So, if you think about all of us are coming together to make the whole, but that integrity is super
important for your individual.
Right.
Individual is very connected with the boundary too. Integrity and your boundaries, your aura, that's where it comes down to. Because the aura is a permeable membrane also. The aura that allow good things to come in and shield you from those, I call it photonic splinters. It shields you from those arrows that's constantly thrown at us, that creates pain and into your joints, creates. Anyway, integrity is very important for that. That's another word that has a double meaning. Integrity is constantly being confused with loyalty. Am I correct? And it's nothing.
I don't see integrity. I don't see integrity as being connected with loyalty. I never really have.
No, like you're having integrity. You're having integrity to a company or to another person, or
loyalty is loyalty.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah, I'm sure some people have thought that way, but so it's probably good to explain it. But they are very different. Yeah, integrity is very different from loyalty.
Okay, then let me ask.
Integrity has more to do with morals, right? And loyalty is something that you feel.
Okay, that's fair. That's absolutely fair what you say. But when I say, who do you have integrity for, Christina?
I guess I really don't understand the meaning of integrity.
Yeah, exactly. So they screw up the meaning of integrity. Do you have integrity, Christina?
I keep hearing yes, but I mean.
Okay, and why do you think you have integrity? It's your honest opinion. Why do you think you have integrity? Because
it's necessary. I mean, that's again. I'm going with what I'm not second guessing my intuition here. It's necessary, but
it is necessary.
The brain isn't kicking in, so the mind brain isn't kicking in here. So I'm feeling my way through this one.
The official definition of integrity is the quality of being honest and having strong principles, like
yeah, she's right.
Like moral uprightness. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but he's not.
Yes, I have integrity when it comes to morals and stuff like that.
Well, morals are man-given and ethics are divinely given. Mm-hmm. So I feel like this explanation with morals is not, because it's kind of more of a divine thing, free will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what's going on?
They didn't want us
There
to
we go.
get that part
Sorry.
out.
Yeah.
Right.
So the literally definition is, I can see is honesty, having strong moral principles. That means you're being loyal. You're being loyal to yourself. You're being loyal to, and it has nothing to do with honesty. Integrity has nothing to do with morals. No, because it doesn't have anything to do with ethics either. Integrity is from the word integral, meaning complete.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what I'm trying to make sure that is. Look at the definition.
I know.
I mean, what? No. I don't know. Integral meaning complete. So your free will has integrity because it has you as a complete human being. If you're not a complete human being, then you're gonna feel it. That's
right, but that has nothing
integrity.
to do with loyalty.
No, has nothing.
Being a complete person has nothing to do with loyalty.
That's the way I felt like they meant is like morality or what was they saying? That's another thing they're saying, being honesty. It has nothing to do with honesty, integrity.
Right.
It has nothing to do with moral things. Has nothing to do with. I mean, it's a little missing interpretation of the word integral.
And that's what the dictionary says.
And that's exactly yeah. That's what the. Wow.
Because the dictionary is always right.
Well, I remember when ain't used to not be in the dictionary.
I mean,
I use that word all the time. Thank you.
Integral? Integral is a Greek word?
I don't know.
I think it's a Greek word. I don't think that the Greeks would meant.
Well, I mean, they talk about integral bread is like a whole wheat bread is integral for certain languages, but yeah, it's a whole, yeah, the whole thing.
We have to make sure that the meaning of every single word is we have a common understanding for it. So
right.
If everybody accepts integrity to be honesty and moral upbringing and loyalty, whatever, I don't understand it that way. Integrity is a wholeness. Yeah, that's all.
Maybe that's where they come with the holiness. I don't know.
Anyway, do you have any more comments on integrity?
Nope, I'm done with that whole thing.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Number 6 is the power of instinct. Instinct is an innate, typically fixed pattern of behavior in animals in response to certain stimuli. It's imbued or filled with a desirable quality. So it is a mother's instinct to nurture her young. It's an instinct we feel if something is right or wrong for us. So our free will is our soul's satellite, and the power of instinct is for our being's overall protection. So that instinct is kind of like a guard in a way.
Yes. It's a huge connection between your gut brain and a free will to generate this.
Your gut instinct.
Yeah, gut brain and a free will or higher self. It's a huge connection for this instinct. That's why we have this instinct inside the free will. It's going to be processed inside your gut. It has a connection with your tailbone, with your emotions. So once that's triggered, that instinct is going to be processed. The information is going to be processed in your gut brain. So it has a huge connection with your higher self, with your free will.
I mean, animals have free will too, so they have animals have an instinct.
Every soul has a free will,
of course. But I'm just saying, like, to make the distinguishing factors between that instinct and an animal. When people think of the animal instinct, I mean, we all have that instinct in us because it all comes from their free will.
Yeah, they call it animalic instinct. So yeah, I understand, but that's a free will connection,
right?
That's a free will with your gut. And it is embedded in your DNA. I mean, a little baby knows how to suck on its tits. I mean, it's just there. It's not like It's there, that instinct. I'm not talking about the human baby. I'm talking about animals.
Yeah.
They know where to
Right.
go. It's just instinctive.
Right.
Is in their gut brain, in the gut instinct, or whatever. Gut feeling.
Yeah.
It's not that type of feeling. It's more like information processed by the gut brain.
Yeah, when you just automatically do something, or you find out you know how to do something naturally and you've never done it before, I think that's an instinct.
Does it make sense, Christina?
Or it's something you did in a past life. You're like, oh yeah, I already know how to do this, and you don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
I definitely believe
That
that.
could be it. Yeah.
He
That could
said
be
that
it.
could be. Oh, that conversation's going to be fun. I can already tell.
Oh yeah. We differ on opinion on that one a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah, everybody's got their own opinion, and I respect that opinion. Sometimes I go, no, no, I don't care what your opinion is. It's not that way. It can't be. It's just not nature. Nature's going to have to take precedent over everybody else's opinion. It's just,
Okay.
it's kind of harsh, but that's nature itself is harsh.
Yeah.
The leaves are growing. The grass is growing. No matter how much you cut the lawn, it just keep on growing. It doesn't matter what your opinion.
Water, heat, and sun.
Yeah, you can't tell the grass to stop because I don't want to cut you. So
can you pause for a couple months, please?
Yeah.
Right.
So.
The number 7 is the power of promise. A promise is a declaration or assurance that one will do a particular thing or that a particular thing will happen. It's the quality of potential excellence. So the power of promise is obviously very powerful. When we make a promise to someone, I'm sure you've heard my mom used to tell me, don't make a promise you can't keep. Because that's
why I don't make promises. I always say I will do it to the best of my ability, but I make no promises. Because you can't.
Right.
Because of divine free will, because of decision making, you can't always promise. So why are we making
your version of the promise?
Just read the whole thing first.
Okay.
I'll tell a lot more about it. Yes.
When we make a promise to someone, it is in our best interest to make sure that we keep that promise, as this is like keeping our word. Our word is very powerful, and our bond, like the sound civilization, builds the fabric of our universe through sound. Sound is logos, the word. We must not misuse this power of promise. So the second your free will promises of anything, it manifests it in this reality. And remember that reality generates the shape and form of matter. Just saying the phrase, I promise, is good enough.
Yes, it's good enough. Sometimes you don't even have to say the phrase, I promise. A handshake. That's a promise. That's a promise. You break that. That have a ripple effect again on everything that we try to build. Because even a lie is a future promise. A lie is a future truth. So we have to be really careful with what we lie.
Don't lie.
That's why I don't lie.
Be honest, and then you don't have to worry about it.
You can read it on my face. Like my face has so many tells. When I have tried to lie,
you can't lie to sick people. You can lie to sick people. It's allowed by the universal nature of things. It's allowed to lie to the imbalanced. And therefore, you bring them back into balance with that.
Giving them a little hope to be able to get over that. Yes, because without that hope, then they wouldn't have anything to hold on to drag themselves out of that situation.
Yes.
It gives them the ability to pull themselves out of a situation.
And heal themselves.
But anything else is...
And everything else is just manipulation. That's why you're doing it. For manipulating the nature, the environment, other people, trying to control, trying to That's why you're lying.
Right.
Everything else is not accepted. It's not natural in the nature of the law of the universe. So a promise is very important. Is a handshake.
Yeah, it's an agreement.
It's an agreement. That
It's your word. I mean, it's a verbal contract, if you want to put it that way, because it's your word. And if you break your word,
in between you and yourself,
yeah,
your higher self, or even yourself, in between you and yourself is a promise. I promise I'm gonna do whatever. I promise to myself. That's how you call that New Year's
New Year's resolutions.
New Year's resolution. Yeah, that's another promise to yourself.
Yeah, when we break promises I mean, it's like being dishonest to ourselves. When we are dishonest dishonest with ourselves.
That's why I don't make promises, because I know I'm probably not going to stick to it, and I don't want to break that. I don't, so I don't make promises. I will try to the best of my ability, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I am not going to promise anything, because majority of my life promises were made and they were always broken. And so to heal that portion of myself, I don't make promises. I refuse to do so. I refuse. Because I don't know what the future holds. And I don't want to be the type of... What's that?
Yeah, you're shutting off a portion of your higher self.
You need to be able to allow yourself to make promises within some kind of reason.
Yeah.
To a point. You know what I mean? Like, I know for, like, as a parent, I will be very careful what I promise, because I know things change and things can happen. But if I need to adjust it, hey, we have to move this. I know I promised. We're moving this promise to right here because whatever in the world happened that just made it happen. I make sure I follow through, even if I have to move it a little bit. And I explain it, why we're doing it that way. But I keep my promise one way or another, it will happen. And that's the way I explain it to the children anyway. It's just because life is going to throw you curveballs. I mean, there's just no way around it.
Right. Exactly.
You have to be a little careful when you shut down certain parts, certain elements, certain components. Whether in any entities any bodies that drives us. Like you shut down the promise keeping to your own self, and they might shut down something else because we don't know the ripple effects on your inspiration or on your intention. Because of that, it might not be for a while; it's just temporarily. But you have to have a balance on every single one of those entities that we function with. We can't just shut them down. So you
can make the promise. Right. So you can make the promise, just if anything happens, adjust the promise. But make it known to the other person.
Right. Well, another great example that he always uses that I'm surprised he hasn't used yet, but I love it, is like when a soldier's going off to war. If he promises he's coming home, he'll come home. You know what I mean? It's the ones that don't promise.
They don't know.
Because they don't understand how binding that promise is. If you promise to your love that you're coming home from war, then you're coming home,
And that's studied 100%. Yeah, it's a promise to yourself. I'm talking about, not promise to others, Christina.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Take a little step. Promise to yourself certain things. Yeah. To not lock you in. Lock you out.
Oh no, I don't dive in. I stick my toe in first. Like I don't just go full on in. Like at least not in most situations. In some, it's like I can feel it, so I know to trust it, and I can just dive right in. But this one, I'm dabbing my toe in. Like
it's called the power of
I'll start
promise
little
for a reason.
Right.
It's the power of. There's a lot of power in that free will. That's what they're scared of.
Yeah.
If we understand our free will and the powers that it holds, woo, baby, they are in trouble. Which I think they already are, but you know what I mean. They'll be.
It's your will.
Yeah.
We call it free.
Like
your higher self will.
the
That's what it
free
is.
will civilization, I mean, everybody has to bow to the free will. So they're kind of a big deal.
Yeah, they are. They are out there. What? Build your own bubble. You go travel,
Orb.
mind travel with orb. Okay, go travel,
Right?
and you're gonna encounter these people around in over there in the universe. You're gonna encounter some of them. Their diamond look, it's like really rough people. I can't even call them people. It's like
Entities.
yeah, they're like a little bit like the
They're
Transformers.
beings.
The way I
Sparkly beings.
sparkly like Transformers in the movie Transformers. That's the way they're rough.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, but made out of these shiny diamonds or something. It's like really. You go ahead and build your own orb and look at them, see them, feel them. You're gonna, yeah.
Okay.
That's all. I mean, yeah, that's very interesting. So the power of promise is huge. Is very, very powerful. Obviously, it's power.
I promise that this ascension will happen. How about that?
For you, yes.
Yes.
Well, for
Good.
everyone.
It will happen.
For everyone.
Well, you can't do that because everybody's got their own free will.
Well, to whatever extent is supposed to happen. We'll put it that way.
Okay. Yeah.
There we go. All right.
There
I
we
feel
go.
better.
So the last power, or it's not the last, I'm sure, but it's the last one that we have knowledge of at the moment is the power of permission. Permission means consent or authorization. So I mean, we see how the news gets our permission by showing us what they want, what their intention is. Whether or not we understand it on our human mind level, what their subliminal messages are, our free will takes it in, and then they're able to misuse our free will against us that way. And this is where they use those symbols and the signs to gain our permission, because once we're aware of these symbols, even just on the free will level, they can use them again and again. But once we're aware of them on the human level, like we're really soul level awareness of this, then we can reject this control.
Give them no permission.
Yeah, we don't give them any of that power. Like we take all of these powers back because it is our free will. The powers of the free will are our powers. So if we're taking back our power, we're taking back our free will and owning and understanding all of the makeup of what these powers hold and what they mean for us on an individual level.
And we are doing it right now. Let's put the meat on the bones a little bit. How we do that? Just check. Just make sure it feels right. Whatever everybody says, whatever I say right now, go check it. It's hard to check because we can't Google what we're talking here. But
check with your soul.
Check.
Your absolute truth.
Use discernment.
Feel inside you, because then you're not gonna give willy permission to everybody whatever they're saying.
Right.
Whatever they're saying, you gotta be true because you CNN. No. Check it a little bit. It may be true. I don't know.
And I mean, just prime example, like there are several people that we have thought the world of lately, come out and say things that we don't agree with. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it feels like they've gone off track a bit, and it's not to say that we don't want to listen to them anymore, but it's like,
why? Why are you saying that?
What's
your interest?
What influenced them to pull this way instead of staying where they were? Because they were on track,
Well, what lessons are they meant to learn?
Exactly.
Everybody has what I mean? Like, what lesson are they meant to learn? Are they supposed to be tempted to pull away from where they're at? And are they going to pass by that temptation, or are they going to accept that temptation? You know what I mean?
Yep,
it's all temptation. It's all learning lessons.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you willing to lose everything to keep your freedom? That's what it comes down today in our social civilization and in our all human civilization. Are you willing to lose everything to keep your freedom? meaning all your money, all your wealth, everything.
Even family, friends, like
No.
well,
Don't lose.
I mean,
Don't lose track of your family.
That was my question yesterday.
Everything that is human.
Are you prepared to lose anything? And I mean,
material.
absolutely anything. It could be
material.
Hey, look at Job. He lost everything.
I mean,
Job.
Oh, Job. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
He's like, who's Job?
Job.
Job. Well, I'm sure there was a Joe that did too, but I don't know Joe.
Protect your family. Protect your family. Protect your children.
Yeah.
But are you losing? Are you ready materially to lose everything to protect your principles and your freedom, your free will?
I feel like COVID was a really big test for most of humanity. Like, what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to lose? What are you willing to negotiate for your freedom, your free will, your,
nothing, because I didn't abide by any other rules. So, I mean, I kept my freedom, I promise you.
There have been many that didn't. So
I promise you. From straight from
there,
the free will.
I made that promise. You're not taking. Nope.
Yeah,
I did not relax. I did not abide by any other rules. I promise you, they didn't get shit from me. So,
why power of permission is very important? Because it's yours, and you got to do what you got to do with that. You should not give it away, like the actors in Hollywood and all other people. To give their permission is when people said you sold your soul. You didn't really sold your soul. You sold your satellite because you give them the permission, your free will, to other people contractually. You sign contracts and give them their permission to do whatever they want to do with you, including killing you, by the way, Kobe Bryant. So, and now there's Michael Jackson. They have so they have rituals. Anyway, that's power of permission. You can say no. You can say no. You might lose everything, but you're not losing your freedom, free will, freedom, your dome, your will. It's freedom, free will.
Right.
Is that why you took away all our domes?
Oh, I don't know. We're building one. So that's the last major component of a free will. Every component, we put only 8 components, like the prime components. It's a prime directive with the free will in the universe. So it's a prime component. Oh, those are prime components. 8 components and 1 nucleus. And everything has a whole nother, hydra of subcomponents.
There's
and
many layers.
Many other layers come from there, from promise, inspiration from it comes from there. It's, stream from there. But those are the prime components that at least 8 of them you can learn, be aware of, use them as a tools, see how can you improve your life through them with those tools, understand what they are, like promise, intuition, where intuition goes to be processed, where instinct goes to be processed, where inspiration is coming from, what happens when you promise something, how much of a power you have in your free will, and how can you use it,
It's our diamond.
Yeah, whether I just scroll down a little bit. Yeah, permission. How much power you have in your permission? Because it's so much power as an individual you have on your permission, and that's what the fight is for right now. That's what the whole entire world is fighting for this one thing.
Well,
permission.
It's the function of the entire free will. I mean, that is how important it is. The function of the free will is the power of permission.
The war in Ukraine is power of permission. The war in between us and the cabal is the power of permission. That's the whole.
It all goes back to free.
They want your free will, and we don't want to give them. They want our permission to give us whatever medicine or whatever. I'm not going to say.
So it doesn't surprise me that there's so many people that say free will doesn't exist, because that's what they want us to believe. If we understand all the powers that we hold in our free will, then of course they don't want us to know that part, because then they can do whatever.
Yeah, exactly. If they convince you that you don't have free will, you have no permission. Because the power of permission is in your free will. And
they unknowingly give away
their
powers.
Here. It's up here. It's in your permission. Right here. Free will, the higher self.
Soul satellite.
Yeah, soul satellite goes.
Like a sonar.
Yep. So that's the whole thing. It comes down to this: the power of permission. The whole whatever we're doing right now in the world, worldwide. Do we use this? Do we give them the permission to use the currency that we have? Is BRICS coming over? Do they do another currency? Is going to be digital? Is going to be
tangible?
Tangible is that's. Are we going to give them permission to take the physical money out of the currency, out of the market, and just give them the control through digital everything? Are we going to give them the permission to do that? That's
no. I mean, I'm not, but
I'm not either.
Me neither. But they can suffocate with. I mean, I'm going to give you the permission to give me a little card, Fed now, and then cut me off whenever you want me to. You wanted to?
Yeah. No, thank you.
No, thank you. No.
I do not give my permission for that.
Right.
I don't know how we're going to do this, but if we stick together, they can force on.
You know. There's way too many of us.
Yeah. I got lots of cancer beans to do trade right now. I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, yeah,
hey, I've been talking about. I'm like, when are we going back to barter and trade? Like that, it needs to like kick in at real quick here.
Right.
A fair exchange of energy. That is the whole. Yeah. That's the goal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At the end of it, it's not easy to just go back to I don't know, cave, practices.
I think it'd be kind of
it's
fun.
really comfortable right now. Well, it's really
Me
comfortable.
too.
I know, but everybody's gotten so complacent that they forgot how to do simple things to survive. And this is a wake-up call, I think, for people to remember who they are and where they came from and what they should know as a human on this planet to be able to survive.
It's a little sad.
I literally said that in like 2 or 3 different posts on Facebook this week, exactly what you just said. So we're definitely on the same wavelength here.
It's that inspiration, man.
So it all comes down to the power of permission. Are you going to give your permission to whatever they want, whoever wants to control you? Yeah, I do at work. I'll just take some orders. They need some stuff me to do, so they give me. They make the decisions for me in exchange for some money
and time. And physical wear and tear.
Time is money. So, if physical, but I give up some permission.
Energies put into that.
I do, but I don't give up all permission. Once that ends, after 10 hours of work,
that deal is over for the day.
Yeah, I'm taking my I'm taking my decisions back, and I live my life. It feels like I'm drained in the weekends, like right now, but I got to do what I got to do. I'm not doing podcasts to live. I'm working. I'm really working.
Yeah.
I do this for fun, and I love it.
It's our passion.
It's our passion, but I'm working to make so-called money. So
until we get that fair energy exchange.
Yeah.
We're working towards it. It's coming. I can feel it.
Well, it has to be forced on. they're gonna have to force it on us, and everybody's gonna be like, I don't want to do this. I want to have some savings at the end of the month. I don't want to spend all my money.
They're not going to force it on us because we're not going to take it.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
I promise.
Okay.
And with that,
I know. I think we've pretty much done a really over an hour.
Yeah, we covered everything.
Yeah, we did.
It feels good.
It does feel good.
Yeah, it feels good.
So anyone has questions, we still haven't done a question and answer one, but whenever anyone has questions, we'll be more than happy to answer.
Questions are very individual, very personal, and very opinionated point of view. So we have to answer to everybody.
Right.
You can't be so general.
When we start our podcast, was it Potlucks and Podcast Tour? Mm-hmm. Whenever that comes up, we'll have some.
I feel like it'll be soon.
Yeah, we'll have some real people to talk to and have questions, live questions in the moment. So
okay, we'll answer if we know. I mean,
if we don't know, we'll tell you we don't know.
Yeah, I literally don't know everything.
Got to be fair, right?
If we don't know, we don't know at the time.
Well, maybe it'll come later, and we'll update.
I hope so.
Yeah.
This is not all my information. I've been given this information too, so I'm taking a little bit of credit to just be able to communicate somehow all this information to put it out there. But most of it, 90% of it, is being given to me. I just put it together.
Yeah.
It's been given
to you by angelic beings, not any. Well, I mean,
they don't like to be called angelic beings.
Celestials.
Celestials, yes.
Sorry.
That's okay. They're like, the angelic beings, they're like Anunnakis.
Okay, the celestials.
They're not. Yeah. We are sentients and they're celestials. Anyway.
Yep, I think that wraps up pretty good. So,
all right.
We already talked about some parts of the body, which will be next time. But we'll dig a little deeper into different parts of the body and how those play in spiritually too. So
okay.
Thank you so much for hosting, Christina. We appreciate it very, very much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you guys.
Yeah.